Testing, testing.
Hey
One,
there.
two.
You're tuned into the False Graves podcast. I'm AK Baby Dude, the light bringer.
And I'm Frick. Happy April Fools to all you goobs out there celebrating such a wonderful holiday. It's under celebrated, I would say.
Very, very.
I'm actually a mastermind. I enjoy. I have too much evil in this small compartment of my brain that opens at midnight on April 1st.
So, do you prank someone every single April Fool's Day?
No, I think that's too predictable.
Okay, so you've missed some.
So sometimes it takes 2 years to plan one good one.
Right.
So I mean, you can't just do it every year. Then it's an expectation. It's predictable.
Right.
And also, I like getting some of the same people over and over again. I derive joy from it. So if they
Of
expect it every
course.
year, then they'll start blocking my phone calls.
Yeah. So you play the long game. You do it
Indeed.
the right way.
I have patience for very few things, but this is one of them. Absolutely. One of my favorites. So my dad is actually known throughout my family as the number one. He is the April Fool's king. He's convinced my grandmother that there was car wrecks. He's convinced his sister that I've been kidnapped. I've been just an apprentice up to this point. And I finally, came into my own, as it were.
Right.
A year ago today. And I was in Gulf Shores, and I was freshly 21, a couple months into being 21, and I wanted to leave the fam. We were all at an Airbnb, and I wanted to go to a bar by myself and just experience some Florida nightlife.
Right.
I was quite excited. So I go to Floribama. It's the only thing close. It was like a 20-minute drive. I get there. There's a cover band doing Eagle songs.
Okay.
And I actually only have 3 beers. I don't even get sloshed.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
yeah.
just trying to enjoy the evening without being too toasted. And before I'm able to get to my April Fool's joke, there's another story that occurred. I actually was dancing down by the stage, and I felt something hit me in the shoulder. And I turn around and look, below me, and it's a bra. It's a huge bra, okay? And I'm thinking, my initial thought was, yo, I just had a bra thrown at me.
Right.
That's ridiculous. But I look up and I see like a fishing line, like a bunch of them across the top of the rooms, and there's just bras hanging on all of them. So that's just a part of this bar, apparently. So I now see what happened. Maybe I was jumping a little too high, and I bumped it and it fell. So I took a couple attempts to throw it back up. I missed one, and then I landed the second one, and a group of dudes behind me were like, "Yeah, good job, bro, yeah." I was hype with those guys. And then this short 5'4" dude who had a team shirt on, a Floribama team shirt on, walks up and tugs on my shirt. I whip around. I take a nice sloped degree looking down at this guy, and he said, "You've had enough. It's time for you to go." I said, "Bro."
He work? Does he work there?
Yeah. He was standing by the stairs all night because he didn't want people standing on the stairs. So if anybody was caught lingering, they were asked to vamonos.
Right.
Orale. So he says, "You've had enough. It's time for you to get out of here." And I said, "Sir, I've had 3 drinks. I'm so sober. I'm having a good time." He said, "No, you got to get out of here. It's time to leave." The guys behind me that were getting hype with me, they're vouching for me. They said, "Yo, he's not doing anything. What's the issue?" He said, "You're pulling down bras." He accused me of yanking multiple.
And you let him know you're putting him back up.
I told him, I said, "Dude, I wasn't trying to yank it down. I put one back up that hit me. You guys, you didn't make sure that they were safe from guys my size who decided to get a little rowdy and jump around to the music that you guys have put in. This is what the Floribama should be about. A little bit of rowdy." So I step outside, not completely outside, just like through a doorway.
Yeah.
And now I'm surrounded by 8 different team members. And they're all just standing there. I guess everyone was bored. They had nothing to do, and there was a commotion, so they got excited. And they were all standing there. This dude leaves to go get a bigger manager. So now I'm just hanging out with the team.
Yeah.
And I tell them all the story, and they're all laughing. They all think this is funny. Because there's like no reason I should be having this conversation.
Right.
So manager comes out, and he says, "All right, listen, what went down?" I told him the same story, and he said, "I see. Well, listen. Just if you get caught doing anything again, we're going to kick you out for good. You're banned." Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's the pass to continue.
Right. I mean, I'm glad I got the pass, but I'm not super happy about it because why did my story not clear my name?
Right.
I mean, was he just trying to save face?
They put you in the black book.
maybe that dude
permanently.
Exactly. Why am I in the black book? Is it because the four guys been just hanging around for generations doing this kind of thing, and his name is good there? Maybe, I don't know. No one looked at him with a smile. Nobody.
Loved.
The other guys were talking. They were hanging out, high fiving. This guy just in the corner.
Yeah.
Taking his job seriously, which good for him on that note, I guess. But anyways, before I re-enter the scene, I shake every single team member's hand, and then I get to him, and I get a little closer than I got with the rest of the guys. And I just shook his hand, just looked right down at him. He looked up at me, and it was really funny moment for me because there were no words said.
Yeah,
it was just. He just looked at me like eyes glazed over, looking pretty. I'm not gonna say terrified, but he definitely didn't look like he was gonna talk to me.
Right.
No more confrontation.
I'm surprised you didn't psych him out. That'd be too brutal.
I mean, I wasn't trying to, hurt this guy. I wasn't trying to freak him out at all. I mean, I had other things on my mind. Some things that were more pressing, like meeting people and continuing to enjoy my experience.
Meeting some women, surely.
I mean, I was looking around, but not too much going on in that factor.
No.
I ended up standing on top of a table further along the evening with another drink in me, and I was singing, and I had a bunch of people and ladies and gentlemen. I was right. They were all interested in what I had going on, and I leave. I go outside and I sit in my car, and now the thing that's been on the back of my mind this whole evening, my dad. He's I know he's not suspecting it because for days I had been conditioning him, talking about how I hate the holiday. I hate how he always used me to get to my family. I hated being a part of it. It's not fun in general. It's never funny. I was trying to hurt him a little bit, make him think those memories were actually.
But
bad
also
memories.
prep him.
But it's
like prime him.
Exactly. So he's now under the impression that I'm just a hater of the holiday, and there's no more said about it. It's now like 1 a.m. April Fool's Day, and I call him, and a couple rings. He wakes up, and I can tell he's just like, well, I just woke him up with my phone call.
Right. And
I know that it's beautiful because I know it has there's no way.
Is it 1 a.m. April Fool's?
1 a.m. April 1st.
Okay, so you basically the night before.
This was all the night before, and it comes into April.
Starting
1st.
Out early.
And I know that he just woke up, and he's not very lucid when he first wakes up. So registering that it's April 1st, regardless of what I say, is not going to be on his mind. And I put on the slurriest, drunkest impression that I could possibly do.
Yeah.
And I hit him with a sad, soppy dad. I'm messed up, dad. I hit a guy, and he's not moving, he's not breathing, and it's dark, and no one's around. I'm drunk, and I don't know what to do, and I ramble for a minute.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good performance.
Yeah.
And I hear the freak out over the phone. He has now essentially lifted my stepmom out of bed, thrown her against the wall, smacked her, water in the face. Yeah. We've got problems. Wake up.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was prepared to come and say he was the one driving and take the fall. I mean, it may have been that serious. You know, he was in that mode as a dad.
So he was prepped to come get you.
And he not come get me. He was prepped to swap places with me and have Shelly drive me home while he sits in the car and waits for the cops to come and him tell them, hey, I hit this guy. I didn't see him. Yeah. And he was going to take the manslaughter charge for me. Admirable. But I wait. I give it some time. I was going to let him actually get in the car and come to me. But I have a soft spot for my stepmom, and I knew that she recently had a heart attack.
Right.
And I didn't want too much on her. So once I knew he was out of bed and he had been stressing quite a bit, I decided to tell him, hey, April Fool's, old man, I'm coming home right now.
Yeah.
So I get back to the condo we were staying at, and he's locked the door. There's no interactions with me.
Oh, okay.
I knocked, and Shelly said, you need to go away. Now's not a good time.
Oh, okay.
He's
furious.
Not furious, no, passed out in the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
In the room. He about had a heart attack of his own. He was completely freaked out. And, it might sound heinous, but knowing what he's done to other people, it's perfectly justified.
Yeah.
So the next morning, we're sitting on the balcony, and he says, come outside. We're gonna have a moment to discuss what happened. And essentially, he says, you've got me. I've never felt anything like that. I don't ever want to feel anything like that again. You have officially retired me.
Yeah.
There will be no more of this game. You are effectively the king of April Fools. Okay. And the torch is passed on. Go do great things. Yeah. Essentially. Now, for a long time, I was riding that high. It's good to get the guy who's normally getting. Okay.
Right.
And throughout the year, I've just thought back on like the ride from after I told him I was headed home until I got there. The wind, the salt of the beach that I could see as I was driving, the salt in the air hitting me in the face, it was just pure bliss for me.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I told this story to a coworker because we brought it up. We were talking, and I got to tell the story. I love telling the story. And something occurred to me that hasn't occurred to me in 364 days since. The day he told me that he was officially retiring, it didn't occur to me because we woke up. It was next day feeling.
Still April Fool's
Day. He told me that on April Fool's. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. For 364 days, I was completely oblivious to that small fact, that little detail.
Right.
And I called him yesterday and I told him. I said, yeah, I'm gotta be on my toes this year. You never know who's gonna try to get me. Even you're not off the list.
Yeah.
And he said, wait, what do you mean? Why would you suspect me? And I said, well, it kind of occurred to me that like you told me this on April Fool's.
Right.
And he said, who gave you that idea? Who told you that? I was like, nobody. I came up with it all on my own. He said, no, seriously, who told you that? And I was like, nothing. I just, I kind of rationed it out. It was a little late, but it was better now than not thinking about it at all.
Right.
And now you're talking about furious. Over the phone, furious vulgarities spewed from his mouth. Nothing but anger. He had set up a diabolical April Fool's joke. He had spent $299.47, and he was prepared to spend a night in jail. He's been to jail plenty of times.
Well, did he break it? Like, how do you know he was going to do it?
So this is I can't ever be sure because he didn't. He refuses to tell me what the huge punchline was going to be.
Okay.
He said because I ruined it for him because I made it this far without thinking about it, and then basically cucked him right at the last second from getting his get back.
Yeah.
He said, my punishment is now never knowing.
Okay.
So I don't get to know what the punchline was. All I know is one person was involved. He spent that much money, and he was prepared to go to jail. And it's a little bittersweet because obviously I like retaining my crown.
Right.
But I don't like not knowing.
Well, it could still be coming.
This is true.
We've got a few hours left.
I have him blocked. Maybe, hey, I'm hoping that he does something. Maybe if he showed up to my house right now, that'd be an epic conclusion. But
yeah,
I mean, there's no telling. I'm really on my toes and I'm mega paranoid, so I don't think that I'm gonna be experiencing any discomfort on this day.
I'd like to think that there's still something coming, and it's significant because that would be the better outcome.
This is true.
For sure.
Because now this April Fool's Day has been a little bland.
Depressing even.
Oh no, I'm still riding the high from last year. But it's a little sad. And mostly because I'm empathizing with how he feels, how he's planned, and he's been so happy that he knew that I had overlooked that little detail.
Yeah.
Because every time I've brought it up, he's had to just
stomach continue to fake it.
Exactly. I've got to deal with this, and he's continued to deal with it every time I tell the story, and now he loses his arc of the story. And
he's done.
I feel a little bit.
I think if he doesn't get you this year, I mean, the legacy is effectively over.
Exactly. The tale is done,
and that's really that's sad. Very sad.
I mean, I guess it's a little sad, but it's time to usher in a new era. Have you ever actually, pulled a serious April Fool's prank on anybody or had one pulled on you?
I'm sure. We used to play pranks all the time in my house. I'm confident. I don't know that we ever did an elaborate one, but the very annoying common ones like taping the back of the sink.
Oh yeah.
Squirter, ketchup packets underneath the toilet seat. The very common ones. Yeah. a lot of that.
Which all hold their own power. They all have pedestals in the Hall of April Fool's fame.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I do think, thinking on it, I got my mom one year really bad, but I don't remember the context. Or it was a made up story, but I don't remember the context.
I see. I know about some of the greats in our world and society. There was this one dude, I don't remember what his name was, but he was in Alaska, and he threw like 50 or so like rubber tires into one of the volcanoes until the black smoke started, and then convinced everybody in the village that the volcano was about to erupt.
That one's rough.
That's ridiculous.
That's rough.
That's a ridiculous level of genius right there. And I mean, he was risking bigger trouble than I was, spreading discourse and calamity throughout his village. I really respect that guy for that.
So yeah. Pranks.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of pranks, there was a viral trend, meme, whatever you want to call it, about a year ago. Never let them know your next move.
Right.
And I'm continually annoyed when trends crop up that actually properly hint at the subconscious warfare that we all partake in, because it makes the average person more aware, and I don't want that.
This is true.
So for example, the fact that the word aura or aura farming made it to mainstream is actually, it's going to sound hokey, but increases the average competition level, because it's a real thing. Yeah. Like having aura and aura farming was a thing before it became a meme. Right. People just didn't say it openly. And now that we say it openly as a joke, on some level people take it more serious. And I know that sounds counterproductive, but no, it's true.
Right.
And never let them know your next move is basically something I've always lived by. I try and embody it and enact it every day. Predictability, I think, is a weakness, and you want to stray away from it as much as possible.
Right.
Now, you might do it to a point it's detrimental. Like, you might be so unpredictable it starts creating problems in your life.
Right.
And you probably don't want to go that far. But the conscious decision to be unpredictable, tying that in with pranks, is something I think people don't take seriously enough. Unpredictability.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, I think it's being a creature of habit.
Mm-hmm.
Just sounds. It doesn't sound good. There's nothing about that sounds nice, And to take that and go the exact opposite direction and not have a singular habit, so nobody can ever predict what you're going to do. That takes routine out of your life. Which I would say takes away a huge point that we need to focus on, which is discipline. How can you be unpredictable but follow a disciplined routine?
See, and I feel like to that point, I strike that balance well, because I'm extremely routine based. I mean, anybody who knows me closely knows I am a routine guy. Like, I absolutely despise changes in my routine. And if you put me in any level of chaos, the only objective I have is to put it into a routine. And however, when it comes to what am I going to say, what actions am I going to take? Okay. People often go, I really don't know. Like, I really don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if he would do this or if he wouldn't. And that's exactly the position I always aim to be in.
See, so they might know where you're going to be at if they know you well. They might know what area they could find you. But in terms of what you're thinking about, what you're actually getting up to, maybe not.
I think if you're really committed to doing this right, you should hit a point where even you don't know.
I see.
What you're going to do or what you think.
I think I don't know that I can go that far. I mean, being consciously unpredictable is one thing.
Yeah.
But to fool yourself, to keep yourself on edge.
That's the ideal. That's the furthest level.
That's an extreme. right there. I don't know that I could ever fall into that.
So I had a person once tell me, and I actually told him this is the greatest compliment anyone's ever given me in my life, and I meant it. I don't know how the topic came up. We were talking, and it was something about figuring people out. Like, yeah, so and so, they're like this. They're this kind of person. And I said, well, what do you think about me? What kind of person do you think I am? And they said, honestly, I don't know what to think about you. And I said, thank you. That's the greatest compliment anyone's ever given me.
Definitely a level of mystique to that. I mean, for somebody to be around you so often and yet not know.
Yeah, they were fairly, close to one another. I see the person at least 5 times a week.
Wow. Wow.
So, no, there's something about it. There's a power to it. There's power there. So I like to think in the future, I've thought about this a lot. So, they can map out the brain currently. And there's already technology out there where they can have a rough guess of what you're thinking based off scanning your brain waves. They can roughly estimate what somebody might be picturing or thinking. And that's kind of a technology in its infancy, but that's real. That's coming. So it wouldn't surprise me if even thoughts are at some point,
transcribable.
Exactly. And I like to think there's a way to have thoughts within your thoughts to a point where they can't even be transcribed. Like, to be thinking about an objective while simultaneously working towards another. I like to think that's possible, and that in the future that'll be an extremely important skill.
Kind of like like a camouflage to disguise your true intent.
Right.
Right.
Camouflage thoughts.
Without that, you'll just become a sim.
Another NPC left to the algorithm.
Right.
Well, I just feel like everything is so algorithmic. I mean, it's so everything is predictable. The average consumer is basically predictive cattle. Like, that's what the average person is turned into over time.
Mm-hmm.
These things output these results, and we know how to influence them. Like, we know how to get these reactions out of people. If you go ahead and in advance scramble your own brain, you've got an advantage.
This is true. If you don't follow the patterns and you don't follow the algorithm, then they can't track you.
They don't know what to think.
You're no longer a part of the statistic. You're outside of the set of data.
I'm not a part of the system. No, I don't know. I just feel like the best move anyone can make out is the one that nobody expects.
Right.
More often than not.
What would you say is the most unpredictable decision that even you didn't know you were going to make at the time? It just became, you just knew the moment that you decided to be unpredictable, it was the right call.
Well, I always think it's the right call. It's a more matter of what's a pointed time where I really did something unpredictable. I've done things I would consider extremely high risk, but I wouldn't call them unpredictable for me. Like, there was that time I impersonated a lawyer,
right,
to get out of a criminal case. Some shit.
I remember that.
That worked out. But to me, that was just risk management and choosing the best option.
Right. That wasn't necessarily unpredictable as it was just, no one would have thought that's the right move.
Right.
But
I did.
But it was the right opener to the...
And it was the right move.
Exactly.
And it was the right move. I'd have to think about it. The thing is, I don't even know. I don't even know. Yeah. I'm too unpredictable to even know.
Right.
I don't even allow myself to remember.
I was predicting that you'd have an answer. So it would match the theme if I go without this hunger to know satiated. Oh well, the pang remains.
Yeah.
The pang remains.
So let's talk about so one thing I was thinking today is repetitive concepts get dull kind of quickly.
Okay.
And people tend to have their core message, their core overarching message. And if you follow anyone's brand long enough, you'll begin to see a lot of redundancies. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you've noticed that. Maybe you don't follow anyone over the long term like that, but
only a couple that I've actually followed long term. But yeah, I mean,
music gets stale over a 10-year career. Speakers get stale. You know, like Eminem's not going to put out anything that rivals his early work today. He's just not.
I mean, the world's different than it was at that time.
Yeah.
And when it hit, it was impactful for that reason.
Yeah.
So not that it's impossible, but it's definitely unlikely.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that the David Goggins motivational speeches are ever going to go stale. I think that there's always going to be a market.
Well, it's stay hard, but it's redundant.
It's definitely redundant.
Yeah.
That I'll give you that. But it's just because it's said more than once doesn't mean that it's less powerful. It just means maybe it's important enough to hear more than one time.
And so tying that in, I think a huge mistake, early creators make, or people who are just starting out, they like to think, oh, I can't say the same thing twice. I can't talk about the same things because people will catch on that I don't have anything unique to say. But when somebody's really breaking out, it's so many times where it's the first time somebody's heard that message.
Right.
Like Jordan Peterson's been famous for, I don't know, he's kind of out of the light now, but 6-7 years, maybe more. And the whole first and second year, people are responding to it like they just saw the message for the first time. And to that point, the thing I'm always most compelled to talk about are the same things.
Yeah.
The same things. The Matrix, unpredictability, bringing the light. These are my core topics.
I mean, bringing in the light has to be a core topic, and there's there's nothing wrong with revisiting that because you never know what branch from the tree of light you might find yourself walking out on.
Yeah.
It's just because the starting point is the same. If you stand right here and walk as far as you can in that direction and come back, you still have an infinite amount of directions that could lead somewhere else. So revisiting the core, there's nothing wrong with that.
Revisiting the core.
Sometimes you got to come back and put some coals on the flame.
Yeah,
get that light burning bright.
Today, I really got to thinking about the Matrix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot. And the whole concept of the human being a power cell was a little hokey when the movie came out.
Yeah.
They're in the tubes, and Morpheus is like to turn the human into, and he holds up a battery, and then it's like ominous music, and Neo is like losing his shit. It's almost like a horror scene in the movie when it's revealed. But the actual reality of the Matrix, I think, is so true and it's so real. And this is what I mean by redundant. I'm always going to get back on this topic. What is the real Matrix? Right? Like what is it? And to the average person, it's so it breaks down so accurately to how the movie is actually displaying it. It's just not as technical. The moment a commodity becomes valued, a value is imposed on it socially, it's part of the Matrix. So like the whole economy, people are like, why does nothing feel real? The whole economy is based on the Matrix. It's based on assumed value, not actual value.
Right.
And all work and labor is traded up on a false value assumption. So like if a business sells out your $15 an hour labor for 20, where's that $5 come from? Where did it come from? It's the matrix. It's the social implication. It's the social extortion of physical labor over time. And so everything is social. The only thing that separates the haves from the have-nots is the social distribution. It's just a social game. And people don't realize it. I don't think people realize it. How social the game is. How fake it really is.
Well, I mean, outside of the materials and the value we put on things, all that's left is people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you've got left. You don't have. Let's say that money was obsolete.
Yeah.
And you didn't need a dime, so working for money goes off the table, and we all begin to split off into the communities that we create, and we start basically from the ground up at this point.
Right.
It's not about that anymore. It's about the people and what you do and how you carry the weight that you're given.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely social. There's no other.
That's why I don't even think about problems from a physical or technical sense. Only people. That's the only way I think about it. Like people will be like, "Oh, did you hear? They got a nuke in Iran, or the stock market dropped 300 points." I'm like, okay, like what are the people saying? Like that's the only way I think of it. How is this being perceived? Like what is the perception? Because that's what dictates outcomes. Perception is, I don't know. It sounds shallow, but
no, you're onto something. It's definitely perception. I mean, especially when you realize that the people that can control the perception of the masses, they have the most power.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I'm sure money comes along with that, but whenever you're able to control an entire, just 100 people, and you sway their opinions and what they believe, and you give them something else, and that's what they all believe in now. That's their new perception of something, and that's what they live for.
Right.
That's powerful. These people are. I mean, especially if you can convince them that it's important enough to die for it.
Yeah.
I mean, back in World War II, or World War I rather, America wasn't really involved at the start initially, and there was so much anti-German propaganda running around America.
Yeah.
Because getting Americans ready to support this war had to happen.
Right.
Because in the moment, everybody was like, for example, like Elie Wiesel, in his book, he said they're throwing babies up and shooting them like skeet.
Yeah.
That's gonna piss off a lot of people. That's gonna get a lot of people flaming with some fire in their soul about the Germans, the Nazis.
Right.
And so now you've got the people perceiving. Now I'm not saying that the Nazis were good guys. I'm just saying, like, when you get a whole country backing this one thought, that's power. Now you can assemble the masses and take care of business.
Right.
And then once the Balfour Declaration was signed, Big Boy America got put into the fight.
Of course.
But it wouldn't have been nearly as effective if the soldiers and the people weren't, supporting the idea that the Germans had to go.
Yeah. Exactly. It was a morale thing. It's all to a degree propaganda.
Right.
Because what's the real reason behind any of it? And when you really get behind the real reason, it's all propaganda. And the analogy I think of that comes to my mind all the time is, I've seen this happen. There's somebody who's worked their ass off every day, disciplined, with no social strengths. Like they just don't have any social strengths. They're not social. Whereas there could be somebody else who is far less disciplined, far less reliable, but is so good socially they rise above the other. And at that point, like in a workplace, for instance, you might have a hard worker making less money than a lazier worker making more money. You can't tell me at that point then that actual words aren't a form of weaponry.
Of course.
Like, they're a form of weapon. And it's a very violent world when you really extrapolate it out. And my whole desire is to break that. Like, to actually break the game.
So I mean, the tongue is one of the most powerful tools that we have, and you're saying that you want to break this.
Yeah, I'd like to break it. I think it's terrible.
So step one is to rise to power and eradicate free speech. Clearly, that's step one.
No more speaking. You know, words are cheap. It says so.
I think especially now, I think
cheaper than ever.
The further we progress, the less weight a single word that we say has, and that's because we're all just like people say things all the time with it's like there's a word for it.
Hypocrisy.
I mean, that's
people say things all the time.
That is a section of it.
That they don't mean. People say things all the time.
It's actually it's in a scripture. It's where Jesus is talking about like things that God hates, and it's a type of speaking. When somebody is just like talking and saying nothing, it's just folly. It's nothing. It's nothing but just ramblings, and it's not geared towards a goal or a purpose. It's just to rattle the muscle in between the cheeks,
right,
so to speak.
Yeah.
So I mean, I definitely see what you're saying in that regard.
It's just all of it's fake. Like from the ground up, we're living in a fake society. We made it. Everything's like we made it this way. Like credit, for instance, you know, in finance, credit exists. When America was founded and there was hard money, let's say there was $1 million in circulation. You loan some money out and the bank wants 5% interest. How can interest ever truly be generated in a fixed money supply?
Right.
It doesn't exist. It's not actually possible. And so money has to be printed. And when you print the money, so like we went off the gold standard, we're printing money, everything's fake. Nothing's real. We're really getting in, like, to the Matrix for real. Like we're really on the path to the movie.
This might be a hot take, but I think that the further we advance, the sooner we're bringing about a fall. And I don't mean like the end times fall.
Yeah.
I don't think that's on its way soon. But in the sense of the routine that the world has been running on.
Yeah.
The progression in technology and politics becoming a bigger thing. And the more it all just becomes more advanced and complex, people are going to start crying out for simplicity.
Yeah.
And it's going to start reversing.
I consider it probably a necessary path, the speed at which we're all in. I think speed is the primary factor of what makes this age different and why we've got a real shot at coming full circle for once. Because you have to think it was generational in the past.
Right.
Like the cycles we've lived through used to be generations. Like a whole generation thought one way.
Right.
And then maybe even your kids thought the same way. And then it changed. And then it was you and your kids thought different. And then it was they thought different than each other. And now it's like everybody thinks differently.
I mean, we all have the same access to not just the ideas of our parents, but every idea that could possibly exist up at this point. You can just get on to the search engine and you can see everyone's perspective.
Yeah.
You can hear what everybody has to say. And at that point, it becomes difficult to discern for yourself what your opinion is going to be.
It's harder and harder. I think it's mimetic human farming is what basically we've been left with. I mean, people are farmed for their attention, and the goal is to brand them with your ideology. Like, brand your viewership with your ideology, collect the resources.
Right.
And I think it's not the right way. It's not how we're supposed to be living. We're meant to be far more independent than we are. Far more independent. We're not meant to be this mimetic.
That kind of plays into, my thinking that it's going to have to start reversing at some point. because I mean it's kind of like, I hate to reference this. It's actually going to hurt my soul. It's kind of like in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull at the end of the movie when the chick just wants all information.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
wants to just be the ultimate knowledge bearer.
Yeah.
And it's too much. I think it's stressing people out to like,
Yeah.
even like for hypochondriacs, they know everything they could possibly have, and that starts messing with their mind.
Right.
If you just consume one type of media all day long,
Mhm.
eventually you're going to conform, and you're going to just fall into, this
Yeah.
is going to be what I believe now. It's all I
Yeah.
see. There's too much, and for the people who don't pick just one thing, like I'm kind of one of those people. I mean I've grown up in mostly conservative households,
Yeah.
so all I've consumed mostly is conservative ideologies.
Mhm.
And I'm aware of liberal ideologies, but I don't identify with them because
Mhm.
there's lots of them I just disagree with completely. But the more that I find myself trying to find an opinion on something, it just seems like there's just so much information on both sides. Some things are obvious, so
Yeah.
that's not as difficult. But when it gets to the big things, when it comes to what you're going to stake your claim on, there are people on all sides willing to die for what they believe.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you hear from each of them their story and they convince you, let's say you get one guy from this side, one guy from this side, they
Mhm.
both pitch you why they believe what they believe, and with such passion that they're willing to die for it, they're staking their entire longevity of their
Mhm.
time here on Earth on that,
Yeah.
from both sides, and they both make good points.
Right.
And then you're sitting there listening, and you don't.
You're left in the middle. But yeah, and the perfect storm is because it raises the animal brain. We've got a higher brain and we have an animal brain. And through conflict over time, especially disagreeable conflict, it's raising our animal brain further and further. As it becomes less about the point and more about stroking that natural aggression, like that natural disagreeability, the natural desire to be right and someone else to be wrong, just
Right.
comes up more and more. And but it's happening faster and faster. So I want to talk about some characters, and I had mentioned this to a friend a while back, but I still think about how strongly it stood out to me. Since recently, past few years, more and more, more figures have emerged. More popular figures, people we know. Not like celebrities are kind of like in a weird way now. Like old actors and musicians aren't really the people now. Nowadays household names are like Jake Paul, Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to disagree with you on the fact that those are some household names at this point, but because of having so much access to so much information,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't predict what names are going to be a household name,
Yeah.
just anywhere, because there's just so much. Like, people have access to. I mean, back then they only had access to the Eagles and
Mhm.
whoever had come out before the Eagles. I wasn't born. I wasn't born during that time.
Yeah.
But I know most of their music, and I've watched them play live at those times.
Mm-hmm.
I have information from now and then, so I feel like it's just there's too many household
Yeah.
names at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
these are you're speaking of the newer ones.
Yeah.
But even Jake Paul's not new. We're in
Yeah,
a
he's
decade
older
now.
now.
I mean,
But
Kai Cenat would be
Right.
I would say a newer household name that's kind of exploded. I mean, and I say newer, but
yeah. But I think on what these people represent, and it's like it's just more and more, it becomes more evident. So there's two lines from two different people that I never forget. Or it sticks out to me today. And it was Andrew Tate, because he's good at talking confidently and like he knows what he's talking about.
right.
He's got a strong voice. And he said, if you are not rich, a woman will never love you. And he said it, with as much conviction as he knows how to say it. That's a binder. And so what that does is if you're a susceptible person or you're easily influenced, you can take that statement and it basically brands you. Like, boom, that was branded into your head. That's now a filter in the way you view the world. Like, well, if I'm not rich, I'm never going to be loved.
Right. Unless if I don't make the decision to grind myself into success or get lucky, I am going to be considered undesirable.
Right, which is a statistically much it's very unlikely most people will succeed in that way. Statistically, it's just unlikely.
Well, because I feel like it's probably because of the end, like the end that those means are towards, like just a woman, just love.
Yeah.
That being the only motivator for everything.
The moon is coming, guys. I promise. We're going there soon, for real. And then more recently, and this one seems so much more forced to me. And I'm always semi-conspiratorial. Andrew Tate's rise, I understood it. It came during the COVID times when male-female relationships were worse than ever. People were more desperate than ever. And he's a good operator. He's technically quite advanced when it comes to manipulating people. The one today that's kind of come up that seems so much more like a paid shill is clavicular and the looks maxing movement. But I saw something a few months back and it stood out to me. It was so obvious. He was on a podcast and he told the person, Jack Neal, that's who he was on the show with, if you are not good looking, it doesn't matter if you're rich or a good guy or you really love her. She will never love you if you are not good looking. And he said it with absolute conviction. And I was like, isn't that interesting? Another binder. You know, and it's like, again and again and again, we want to hit people. We want to get them caught. We want the average person to be stuck so badly. I'm not saying me, but like the powers that be want to bind the average person's mind to these ideologies. Like it weakens the average person so much. And I think it does insane amount of damage to the populace as a whole.
I mean, think of whenever you have a guy, a young guy, any guy really, and they've had that binder attached to them, that especially if they feel like they don't look good, which it's really in the eye of the beholder, I guess. But for them, if they see themselves as undesirable to look at, what's next in that person's mind?
Yeah,
they have to begin to hate, like maybe not hate women, but they're not gonna care.
Right. Well, it's like, imagine you're a product company, a beauty product company, a male product company, peptides, whatever.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
And you're like, what's the best way to get the new generation caught? Like, what's the best way to hook these people? Well, clearly it's to find a representative and shield them, like to promote their clips, put all the money into their brand, and they're going to continue to funnel this self-hatred to a point that the average person is now paying money as a man to look differently. Our hustle culture with Andrew Tate, or Grant Cardone once, I'll never forget this. He does seminars and he talks about how to make money. And he was a drug addict who started with like $5,000 when he was like 25. He got off drugs. He did a real estate deal, and then he became very wealthy through real estate. He once told a guy who had $100,000 saved in his crowd, that's not enough to get started. You need to invest that back into your education. Meaning you need to buy more courses. That's what it means. You need to buy more courses.
Wow.
I mean, that's really what he was going for. He started with $5,000 with no education.
Well, they have to convince you that you're not going to be able to do it like they did it.
Exactly.
I mean, they have to convince you of that.
And so there are binders and binders and binders. And I think if you really take a step back and look at what you're being fed and what people are watching, there are these microaggressions. That's what I would call them, that serve to bind you. And I've got a saying that I live by. I don't even know that it's grammatically correct the way that I say it. But if something is too difficult to be true, it is. Which means anything that's too difficult isn't true. It's not even real. And that's the way I view things. And I think that's part of the cure. That's part of the antidote to the world we live in. That is part of the antidote. If you go, what's the solution? It's just don't believe in it. If something isn't a helpful belief, you just shouldn't think it. Like, you just shouldn't believe it. It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. If you're black and you get pulled over by a cop, you should think that he's going to be extremely nice to you and just let you off with a warning. Why?
Because that demeanor, even if you get a ticket, the demeanor you're gonna have is, I don't know. I don't know how legitimate it is, but I've seen interactions that have gone just like that and still have went awry.
Yeah. Well, no, things can still go awry. They can still go wrong. But I'm saying the best way to combat binding statements is to think they do not apply to me.
Right.
And if I desire something to be true that is, you know, conflicting with that information, I'm simply going to deny that information is true. Like, I give this example a lot. If you really wanted to live, sometimes when people get old and they've been sick for a long time, they might actually want to die. Like, they've been tired and sick for so long, they're kind of hoping to die. And that's obviously very bleak. But if you're young and you got a family and you get diagnosed with terminal cancer at 30, the word terminal has no relevance anymore to you. It shouldn't. You shouldn't even conceive of the word. Because terminal means you're going to die. Well, that's not a positive outcome, is it?
Right.
So, what purpose does it serve you anymore? It doesn't serve you at all. And what you should do instead is just strictly dedicate your time to thinking how you can survive, how you're going to get through it, how you're going to overcome it. There are terminal cases that have been beaten. Those exist. So that could still be you. And in a world that's trying to bind the fuck out of you for every resource you're worth, and just let it roll off.
I mean, the human brain is quite powerful. I remember reading something a long time ago about a dude who, he got into, he was like train hopping, and he got into a refrigeration train box rather, and it said like somewhere on the inside that like the degrees, it was just freezing.
Yeah.
And they found him, and he was basically just shivered, like holding himself, and he was dead.
I've heard about this story.
He just died. And,
yeah.
And he was shriveled up and just all frozen, in his mind. He wasn't frozen. The boxcar wasn't even on.
I've heard about that.
But he convinced himself that this was my end. This is where I was meant to meet the maker.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
it's so powerful.
Absolutely.
And this errs on being too individualistic, and I don't think that's bringing the light. I think that's ego. But a great antidote to the world of today is to be extremely individual, extremely individualistic, because you're getting prescribed something every day. You're getting prescribed something every fucking day. For example, energy tablets. So I'm on TikTok today, and there's some dude talking about NeuroGum. It's got caffeine, all natural. Natural caffeine, not like coffee. What the fuck is coffee if not natural caffeine? And then he's like, oh, and it's got a little bit of L-theanine. L-theanine is a balancer to caffeine. Like if you drink matcha, a superior form of caffeine intake, it has L-theanine already in it. And those are symbiotic substances. They go together and they balance each other out. Less crash, more energy, yada, yada. But he's trying to sell me this product on TikTok. And the way he's talking about it, like, and it just makes me feel so good. Yeah, I'm having brain fog at work, and I'm struggling to get my tasks done, and I just use some of this gum, and and I'm like, not relevant. Like, I don't care how tired you are. If something is important, you'll get it done. So what's the need for the product? If something is important, you'll get it done. The whole culture of selling energy is crazy to me. And this is coming from somebody who's been all over the fucking place with my extremisms, with no sleep, with other issues. It doesn't matter. Like, who cares?
I mean, I've seen the same thing in Chick-fil-A ads. I mean, they say this is a real customer. Yeah. This one right here, we didn't hire this one. This one is eaten at a Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
This is her opinion.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the food industry, that's just the biggest energy seller there is.
What does that matter to me? Is what, like, how does that matter to me? What Shirley from Kentucky thought about the new chicken sandwich? Why would that influence me? And I know that it does. Like, it subconsciously does. But why? You have to use your higher brain and go, you know what? Nah. Just nah. So, and I'm actually very agreeable on the surface. Any girlfriend or ex-wife I've ever been with would disagree, but a lot of people think I'm agreeable. I've got this issue where I'm so agreeable that I'll let people think they're talking me into something, and then the whole time I know I'm not gonna say yes, and at the end they're like, so we're doing this, right? Nah. I wasn't really thinking. Nah.
It's all in the facial expressions, the demeanor. You can really convince somebody that you are on board while actively scoping out the true option, which is to jump off the train. You know,
exactly. Unpredictability.
Right.
That's how you fight this Matrix bullshit. You have to be unpredictable. You have to let them think you're being convinced.
Because it starts there, and then eventually it leads down to you saying yes to Ozempic. Now you're on every other drug they create and put on the TV.
So I think drugs can be good, and I think there's a lot of things that have benefited people for sure. I'm a little unhappy about Ozempic actually working.
Oh yeah,
I know it's working, because if you look at the stats on obesity, it's working. That's unfortunate to me. I'd like to think that it doesn't work. But the concept of people being able to achieve similar bodies to people who worked harder, and I know that's kind of an old way to think because so many things today are given in artificial ways.
Right. Drake had abs.
Right. God, those did not look natural. He had like a gut with abs on it. And celebrities already do it, but I'm like, it's just one more thing. Like, what if that beautiful girl you meet and ask out, that's not really her body. That's Ozempic. And you're like, what happens when the drug supply runs out?
Well, does it once you get off of it, what's the statistic of somebody who got on it, got thin, and then got off of it?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
True.
Because if it's like once you're back to like how you a decent healthy weight, if you start eating well, does that maintain? Like, have you just put yourself back at square one and given yourself the shot to work hard to maintain?
Statistically, most people who lose weight in any form gain it back, believe it or not. Like, I can't say for Ozempic yet because I think most people are still on it. Like, it hasn't been out long enough for people to be getting off of that. But I also don't think it's had enough research to effectively be considered safe. And I know drugs follow the same protocols, but I feel like ever since the COVID vaccine, everything happens fast now. Like, the world is fast, and it would just make sense that medical trials and medical testing are getting faster too.
Yeah.
Like, I really believe the drugs coming out today do not have the background checks of the ones of the past. And the ones of the past had some horrors. There were some pills that you can't get them anymore because of what they did to people. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine what's going to happen with the pills of today.
Did you get the COVID vaccine?
No.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm somehow a free man.
I never got it once. I made it through the whole thing.
Yeah, I never got it either. I was actually, this is going to sound so made up. Real story. And it's funny the way that I think. This is because this will really be funny when I give you the full context. I was on the phone with a doctor recently, getting some advice about some testing I had done, and he said, "Let me ask you this, if you don't mind. Have you had the COVID vaccine?" And I said, "No, I haven't. I didn't really believe in it. You know, I just didn't want to get it." And he said, "Good man, good man." And even though that's my opinion, I started thinking, I don't know that I trust this doctor anymore. Like, the fact that he was siding with me made me go, I'm not so sure about him. And that's so odd because in theory, somebody agrees with you and you believe it. It's better not to have it. That they'd gain authority, but I'm like, I don't know. Who would ask that as a professional doctor and then go, good man? But yeah. And then there's somebody, and there's always the one-off case of somebody who had an extreme reaction. Right? And that's the thing. Like I've said this many times in terms of, talking about redundancy tonight. I'd rather die a natural death than a consumeristic accidental one. Like if I go outside and a tree falls on me and I die brutally bleeding out under the tree, that's going to be terrible. But it's at least natural. Like
it felt like it was gonna happen that way. It was meant to happen that way.
But like for instance, there's at least one case of Ozempic where somebody's bones melted. What? Like fucking Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And they zapped his arm because he broke his arm.
Bone marrow liquidation?
Their bones melted.
There's no way, bro.
And I'm like, imagine being the one case.
What does that feel like? You just reach out to grab something and your arm just completely starts melting. How does it?
Well, it's like in SpongeBob when they're selling chocolate and the one guy broke his arms and legs and he wakes up every day with glass bones and
SpongeBob syndrome. That's what they should call that. That's good.
And I'm like, I couldn't. Now, somebody had a funny comment, and that's so true. The reason they can't make that is because of white girls. But he says, they should make a pill with Ozempic and Adderall. No, that would kill out the white girl population very quickly. So, if you like white girls, you don't want that pill coming out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stand against the pill coming out. I'll be at the front line.
But no, and I'm like, I'd rather not be the one. I'd rather take the risk of being fat than be the one guy who died of his bones melting on Ozempic. Like, imagine the doctor, you think everything's going according to plan, and then you're just slowly dying. And it's just such a brutal way to go.
What had to combo there for that to happen? Because that was just specific to that guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Right.
But it's all the same. No one else has had that happen to them. So what was special?
Well, like vaccine injuries are real, and they're extremely rare, but they're real. And that's like where somebody actually has such an autoimmune response that it could kill them or maim them for life. And that's like 1 in 0.00 whatever percent. But that happens. And recently, speaking of unnatural deaths, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but the Hyundai incident. Where this is actually such a terrible story. Killed a toddler in the back seat because they made the folding down back seat power. They powered it. You know how you have power seats?
Oh, yeah.
They actually made the mechanic where the seat drops flat in the back of an SUV. They made that powered in this model, and it crushed the toddler to death.
Wow. What an oversight.
And the mom was actively trying to get the toddler out as it was happening. Like, bystanders got involved, and it just kept closing. And I'm like, I don't want to die in those ways. Let me die
that's bad.
The natural death. You know?
Slowly deteriorating in a in a field somewhere after eating a berry that you didn't.
Much better way to
research.
go. Much better way to go. Nobody laughs at that guy.
The dude, the guy that went out to live on his own and ate a mushroom and then just died. You know, his plan was to live out as long as he could without, society. And he ate a bad mushroom and died.
That's not a joke. That's a respectable death.
Right.
Trying to get skinny because you lack the discipline and then your bones melting.
That's not a respectable death.
That's a joke, and it's terrible.
It's horrible. I mean, like, what does his family have to talk about? Whenever they think about him, that's what's attached to his being.
I never forget the guy who died on a college campus from butt chugging a bottle of vodka. Do you know that story?
Yes.
There are some true tragedies out there. Like, it's so brutal.
Dude.
Let me die a natural death.
Somehow that was more respectable than the bone melting. That's good.
It's because the audacity of it.
Right.
That's like extreme.
It's not just that you have to open your cheeks and put a tube in your ass, but you're gonna do that on a lawn in front of other people and be straight up cool with it.
On extreme deaths. Yeah, but his parents spoke at the campus. Like a few weeks later, they spoke about the dangers
of alcohol or
of butt chugging.
That was the seminar?
Yes. And I caught a little bit of it. Like, I watched it and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll stop doing that. No.
Out of the routine.
No, people should be more comfortable dying the natural ways, I think. It's better for all of us.
That one was natural selection, I think.
Yeah. Well, it ties also into... I got a lot of topics tonight. Let me just keep bringing them up. Everybody these days has to be blamed for something. So basically, we've advanced. We've scaled out of a human reality where tragedies happen. That's kind of a foreign statement now. Tragedies happen. Now it's whose fault was it? So like, everything should be solvable. I feel like we take the approach of everything should be solvable. Nothing bad should ever go wrong. Like, oh, so-and-so, hurt their ankle walking into Chuck E. Cheese. Well, the manufacturer of that door panel should have known not to make a 2-inch buffer. It should have only been 1.5. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even. It's just for the money at that point. I mean, you're not really looking for someone to blame there. You're looking for some kind of reward from the tragedy.
Let me tell you a funny one. There's a lot of lawyers on TikTok now.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot.
Lawyer TikTok.
All different types.
For sure. I like the prenup lawyers.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching those.
Because they tell you how brutal things can be.
Oh yeah.
And I know there's one really famous one I'm sure we've both seen, but one of my least favorite types of lawyer, and this goes for businesses too, is the injury lawyer. Injury lawyers are predatory because they often market themselves as an active service. Like, you got hurt, call us, we'll get you money.
Right.
Which means we're going to sue somebody to get you money, even if it was your fault. And so there's one guy who just recently started cropping up. I don't know his name, but he's a real injury attorney. And I saw this video, or, he was showing this video, and it was a lady trying to get on a boat. It's an elderly lady going on like an excursion. And the walk onto the boat is clearly missing a walkway. It's a big gap between the dock and the boat. And she literally just walks right off the dock and like bangs her head on the boat on the way down. And she's okay, like she survived and they got her up, but he's like, closed case, negligence, no way to argue this, we'll win in court, this is a non-starter, there's no defense against this. I'm like, what about her own eyes? Like, is that not a defense? You should have looked where you're fucking walking.
So true. I agree. She should not be getting money for.
You walk off a dock with a clear, wide gap. No, that's on you. And I think so much. Yeah, we're in that era now of society where no problem is your problem. No accident should have happened.
From a young age, I didn't even know that, like, you know, there was a reason to despise, you know, lawyers like this. I would have to drive 9 hours. I wouldn't have to drive. I would ride with my mom 9 hours from Florida to Kentucky, back and forth multiple times.
Yeah,
because that's where, you know, to see my dad.
Nothing but attorneys, right?
Dude, I actually, every single time I saw an Alexander Shannara billboard, I would become violently furious that I had to see it again. I would just shout out, "Curse you, Alexander!" And I do it to this day.
He owns the path from Tennessee to Florida. He owns it,
dude. And I'm so serious. 3 within a mile of each other. I saw one. This was the most unbelievable. I've never felt this rage. A double billboard. He's on both. Why does he have both of them?
Because he's audacious.
Oh, dude, I don't know that guy. Maybe he's fun to play golf with. Maybe he has a good taste in whiskey. I don't know, dude. I just, for some reason, despise that guy.
I got to read some comments real quick,
okay,
and then because
let's
I got some more about the lawyers. Like, birth control doesn't always work. Your wife can still get pregnant, and sometimes the baby will even come out black. That's true. That's a side effect of birth control.
Pigmentation issues.
No, he's speaking facts. So just know it ain't all made good and effective. I agree. You gotta get that stuff third party tested. But so the lawyer issue, injury lawyers. I was in Vegas recently, and I've been there before. And there's always a lot of injury lawyers on billboards. Always. That's just a popular thing to be on a billboard, I guess. That's where, you know, poor people are like, oh, I might get some money if I sue my employer or my family or whatever. In Vegas, the entirety of the billboards, outside of the strip, where the billboards might be like the actual business itself, the entirety of the Vegas area is injury attorneys. All of it. Every sign. There is not a billboard that is not an injury attorney.
So Morgan & Morgan's, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. And ones you know we've never heard of. Ones in Vegas. My favorite was and this was clearly somebody who had the budget, because this was one of the more popular ones. A really stern portrait shot of a lawyer. Demopolis Law. We win. That was it. And that was it on every billboard. But no, nothing but those. And I'm like, my God, Vegas must be a terrible place for employee-employer relations. Because it incentivizes each party to hate the other. Because if you're an employer in that culture, you're going to start looking at your employees as potential liabilities. Like, this person gets hurt, they could be a problem for me.
Right.
So then they start putting in rules and programs that makes life shitty for the employees. Like,
as well as the customers. Like,
yeah.
Now we have to look at boring mats just so
yeah.
elderly lady Sue doesn't trip and fall,
yeah.
and we blame it on the establishment.
And, you know, maybe a warehouse worker might show up to work dripped out, and now they are in a yellow vest and hard hat. Think about, the law.
The shine, you know, blinded a coworker, and now it's...
And so, yeah, things change because of these attorneys. And, I was getting to a point though. Oh yeah, the magnum opus of injury attorney billboards. We're headed to the airport to leave Vegas, and it says, "Did you get hurt at your hotel? Don't fly out yet." And that billboard was 3 in a row. So it's saying like, oh, did you you hurt yourself in that hotel? Do not leave Vegas because we got a case for you. It's like they're selling it to you like, hey, instead of catching your flight, how about you catch a case?
I mean, you know, just I wonder what the like how much money on average is somebody whoever calls that specific billboard, how much are they making on average?
Yeah, well, I think
The whole collective group.
the lawyers make a ton.
Sure.
Like,
I mean
take
the average person who actually says, you know what? I'm canceling my flight, honey. I'll see you in a week.
Yeah.
I've got some business to take care of.
Well, that's probably a searchable stat. What's the average payout for, you know, an injury case? Just across the board, all cumulative, you know, there's going to have your $1 million cases,
Right.
your $100 cases, and just see what the number is. I'd be curious. So, I mean, I'll look that up after this, but no, man. They didn't want you to leave Vegas. You might have a case.
I mean, but what constitutes? How many people are slow and like think, well, you know, I bumped my head on the head of the door.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really think about that when they made this door. I'm gonna get some money off of this. I stubbed my toe on a piece of metal that was sticking out from under the bed.
Yeah.
How much money can I make off of this Holiday Inn?
Well, I think there are lawyers out there who try to aid you in having a case. Like, well, you say a stubbed toe, but did you get that checked out? Maybe you have a fracture.
Right.
And if you have a fracture, maybe you have some pain and suffering.
Emotional damages as well to come along with that. You had to go to the hospital. That's
in this era, yeah.
Rough.
And it's such a nasty environment, man.
Oh my goodness. So true.
So I don't know how America's going to get back to greatness. I want to get America back to greatness.
You know, do you want to know what I think step one could have been?
What?
Something that, you know, at one time was too difficult to be true. We're making it to the moon.
Oh,
for
yeah.
real this time.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Actually. I mean, because how difficult is it to actually get to the moon? I mean,
So according to Elon Musk, almost impossible.
Okay, so I mean, he was big into rockets at one point.
You heard this right. We are on the moon now. Well, not the crew, but we are.
What are we doing on the moon?
Yeah, it seemed oddly timed. I'm sure some people in the chat might know more than I would, but I don't know why we're going back now.
Today?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna land in a couple days, but the rocket left today, and they're gonna like circle Earth a few times.
A decade from now, when people are trying to determine whether or not we went to the moon this time, they're going to say, "Well, it launched on April Fools, so."
Oh yeah.
Anything could be true at this point.
So I watched the launch, and there's cameras attached to the rocket, and you know when they broke out into space, you can see the Earth a little bit. It's not like great camera quality, which is kind of surprising given the day and age we're living in. It still was kind of bad, but I think the post footage will be better, like when they return. But you could clearly see the Earth from space in this footage. It looked very real, and but it seems like they might have made the Earth rounder.
Yeah.
To combat some of those flat Earth theories.
Right.
It looked very round. Don't remember it being that round because you can't see it all at once because they're not that far out from it yet. You just see like the horizon.
I feel like I would need to see this to truly get an understanding of it being more round.
Somebody said we weren't even born the first time that they went to the moon. They must not know my story. I'm 1,000 years old.
You've been around. You're cracking a millennium.
Yes, I am barely. I'm barely making it, but I am getting a full 1,000 years. Yes.
And you know that's a long time to be kicking. And you haven't taken Ozempic a single time.
Not yet. It wasn't around most of the time.
Right, but I mean now it is. I mean you've been working hard to keep your body.
That's true.
In the way you wanted it. Now it's like that. No work necessary.
I ain't taking it either. But no, we're going back to the moon.
Right.
And this should be some of the best footage we've ever gotten. I am excited to see the new footage, like what we can actually get.
I'm a little worried, to be honest, because now that AI is so good at generating, videos and things, this time if it is a hoax, they're not going to be as slow as to put strings into the video.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so meticulous.
Well, I was saying the debunk, the conspiracy angle for this is already out there. Isn't it funny how we went to the moon back in the 50s, and then all of a sudden, when AI came out, we're going back. Is that a coincidence? We didn't go back the entire time in between now and then. But now that we've got AI, we're going back. I think we're going back, but that will be the conspiracy angle.
And I think it's a solid conspiracy angle. I mean, there's no way to tell.
Seeing an average injury payout of 1 to 100,000.
1 to 100,000.
No, not bad.
It's a little wide for me.
Yeah, really wide, not specific enough. But no. Yeah, we're gonna see footage of the moon.
I mean, I guess that's exciting. I mean, whatever they come up with will be exciting.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Dude, I was having a talk with somebody today, pretending to be on the conspiracy side of the moon landing.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking just how easy it would be. How easy the rabbit trail is of conspiracy. Because, I was playing the angle of we didn't really go to the moon the first time. I think we did. I think it's quite likely we did. And it wasn't fake. But I'm open to the idea it was fake. And so, I hit him. I was like, well, of course we're going back now. AI is out. And that rabbit trailed me into the conspiracy theories I've heard, which is there's a radiation belt around Earth. And the theory goes we never went, and we never could, because it's like the Van Bell radiation something.
Right. I mean, from a Christian standpoint, does it even make sense that we'd be able to go and explore off of Earth? I mean, because it does. I mean, I feel like it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since, maybe initially, since we were supposed to be, in the image of God, maybe more celestial than we are now. Maybe we were eventually supposed to explore that.
Well, I've got an easy counter for that.
Okay.
Anytime humans have done something they shouldn't be doing long enough, God just shows back up.
True.
So if we're out there on Jupiter, he could just come back and be like, nah, guys. You're going back.
He's going to show Trump his button and Jupiter will be no more.
Yeah.
Completely vanished from the...
But, yeah, I don't know if that's a pursuit we should have as Christians. I don't know it should be what we're so focused on, but we are at least doing it. They are trying to go. And yeah, the radiation was the idea. That's why we actually can't go. And that tied me into, the response was, I'm going to give this rabbit trail. I think the response was something about, well, what about the satellites? And I said something like, well, there are no satellites. Or what about the cell towers? And I said, don't you know all internet is ran continentally through underground cables? And that cell towers aren't actually picking up anything from satellites. There's a wire run to them from the ocean. And now I've known that that's a real thing. Not to that extent. I didn't know the cell tower thing was real. But I've known that over 90% of all internet on Earth comes from the ocean. That's true. You can look that up. You can just Google it right now. And when I hit him with that and I looked it up, the statistic is 95 to 99% of all internet and all data on Earth, including cellular phones, comes from the ocean, like the interconnected cable.
From the ocean, what do you mean?
There's a cable system that runs intercontinentally,
I see.
Literally ocean to ocean. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
That's true. And so I'm like, they say it could be up to 99%. What's 1 more percent? Make it 100. There are no satellites. Right. There are no cell towers. It's all just cords.
That's just somebody not wanting to be absolute.
Yeah, that's true. And
why is AI use damaging water?
Well, something had to replace global warming.
True. Global warming started to clear up. The ozone layer started fixing itself, and now we need a new reason to be frantic.
Yeah, our water's running out. AI's drinking it all.
Listen, I can never be convinced that we're running out of water. I know how much of the planet is water. It would take. I'll be dead before we run out of water, essentially. So that's not a worry on my mind.
You don't know water, then.
Oh yeah,
it's scarce. But the end to that conversation I had was coming to the realization that the term sci-fi, the genre, was coined by a Jew. And if that doesn't tell you the earth is ran by a cabal of Jews, I don't know what does.
Add it to the list of evidence. The cherry on top of the sundae.
It's pretty funny. It is pretty accurate. Any conspiracy that you think of, if you Google enough, you can kind of trace it back to someone of Jewish origin.
For sure.
Which, I mean, that says something.
Speaks volumes.
So we're getting close to our time. What do you got? What?
Honestly, I'm surprised that we're close to our time. You know, it's time on the pod and with the chat flies by so fast. I mean,
we're trying to decode this shit. Break people out. Bring the light back. That's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
I know that we still haven't succeeded because somebody today heard about, you know, the rocket being launched and still decided to go goon on an OnlyFans page. So ass and titties are still reigning supreme.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But
I'm glad you bring that up because that is the single biggest battle.
We have to come.
We have
that's
to
not
be
redundant. That has to be drilled in.
Yes, that has to be drilled in. That has to be drilled in. You cannot pay to goon. You cannot pay to goon.
It's a free activity. There's absolutely no reason to be paying for it.
No. It creates the worst of both worlds. It creates the worst of all outcomes.
So true.
The horrification of women and the simplification of men in one action. It is the worst action, in my opinion. I thought about starting a program in the past. This would have to go to a more self-hating individual. But where anytime they thought about spending money on OnlyFans, they could just send it to me instead. And I would show up to their house and beat their ass. Like a subscription beatdown service for when your urges are getting the most of you.
It sounds like that one dude who hit up David Goggins on direct message and said, "Hey, bro, come live with me for a week. I want to wake up and you be next to me, and I want to be told, get up, bitch! It's time to work. You know, it's time to get moving. You're not who you want to be, so it's time to be who you're not."
The worst part about it is, if you give the money to the girl on OnlyFans, she's gonna think you're icky and like disgusting.
I don't. Over time, I feel like they'll become disillusioned.
Some could. No, but I'm like, no. If you're like a big account, like, because when people talk about them, they're generally talking about the big accounts. The average ones don't make anything. But if you're a big account and you have thousands of subscribers, you don't give a shed of concern to your average donator.
Right.
You don't. You can't. How could you? And it's like to nullify yourself through that action. It's so insane. And you know, it used to just be free. I mean, I guess it was never truly free, but these days it's crazy. It's crazy. And all the comments, it's her body. What's wrong with her, you know, making a buck? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Crazy.
That'd be like going and popping a couple school kids and I don't know, collecting money from their parents so they don't have to raise them anymore. And somebody going, "Hey, it's honest work."
Exactly.
No, it's the degradation of society. It's not making a buck. It's killing, is what it. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Nothing but negative effects. There's no net positive.
No, there is not, man.
There's a net positive for somebody diabolical and ready to take care of business. Now they can like hack into the OF database, figure out who all the subscribers are, and then systematically start killing them off. And then, or at least we're like, we can weed out the weed.
Do we want to be whores and gooners?
No.
Or do we want to be husbands and wives?
Right.
And fathers and mothers. What would we really like to be? It's pretty obvious.
Right.
Pretty obvious. Definitely not gooners.
The furthest thing from a gooner. That's what you have to strive for. You have to sprint away. Because, it's really bad now because you have old guys who've been divorced and they have like nothing better to do.
Mm-hmm.
Young guys who are, it's becoming routine for them.
Yeah.
It's affecting, it's one of those things where it's not like a generational thing. It's everybody.
Well, that's the thing. And there are certain people where I like, even though I'm still like, you should never do it, the case makes so much more sense. So like my go-to thought on who is the prime demographic for OnlyFans, truck drivers. Those are generally men with a decent amount of extra income, with no good social life, and are generally not very attractive. Like they're like the outcast workhorses of America.
Yep.
And they make decent money, and they're alone in their truck 7 days a week, and they're like, "Hey,
Well, maybe the companies that are promoting OnlyFans have started putting money into billboards too, so they can start binding the phrase, "We need more CDL truck drivers. We don't have enough."
Yeah.
The trucks aren't getting where they need to go, and they know that the more they get involved, the more OF subscribe. I bet it directly correlates, in fact.
Yeah.
Easily a direct correlation.
I think so. So we got to get them away. And I think changing the expectations. We got to change the expectations. It's all got to be changed. The superpower a man has, there's one thing. There's one thing that makes a man a superhero. It's going to sound so antithetical. It's that he can go die alone.
Okay.
That's it. If you can do that, then you've got the foundation to be a real man.
Okay.
Because the only way that you reshape something is you maintain the dignity to walk away from it. Like you maintain the right.
It takes isolation with the right binders.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to get the Play-Doh in a box by itself and let it reshape.
Yeah.
We have to change the not just the surface, but the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
The fundies of the game have been corrupt for too long.
Oh God, they're so corrupt.
It's muscle memory, and it's time to rework to.
Corruption is muscle memory at this point. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's just starting to get passed down. That's why this generation seems so sucky to the older people. It's like,
I've joked about running for president when I'm old enough. I have no clue whether I'll have any shot or a following worth getting there. But I have fantasies in my head, and and I can't help but replay them. And it's, if I won, I know the first thing I'd do.
What's that?
You call an emergency meeting, the kind that cuts out cable.
Right.
The president has the right to do that.
The president of the United States would like to speak.
And you make sure it's a really nice day outside. And you tell everybody, we're all going to go out. We're all going to go out together. We're going to sit out on the grass and just sit in the sun.
Be grateful for the grass that we sit in and the sun that shines on us.
And we're going to live stream it. And we're all going to do it together.
The great gathering.
That would be step one.
That's solid. But I think that you need to take it a step further. I don't think that it's president that you should go for. It's time to. It's because the Constitution literally says it's time to, when the powers are corrupt, abolish it, completely destroy it, burn it to the ground, and start again.
Yeah.
Because clearly something went wrong.
It went wrong.
It's time to, because the president's nothing but a puppet anyway. It's time to completely supersede the president and still give that message out.
Well, I think influence is the, that's the thing. Influence. Like, are there people more influential than the president? I would say yes, normally. Trump, puppet or not, like, there might be somebody, like us, controlling him. I could believe that. And that person would then be the most influential. But Trump, as a force, is extremely influential, regardless of whether he's controlled.
Right.
He outputs influence. And the goal is just to have such a platform of influence that it could rival.
Yeah.
It could rival that level.
With no BlackRock or Vanguard
it
behind the scenes.
It wouldn't make them any money.
Exactly.
Sitting in the sun. Have to start charging for it. Black hole sun. That's what it would be then.
BlackRock sun. It'd be terrible, bro. They just decide to put like a whole metal shield over America, and they're like, so if you want us to open the shield today, we're gonna need,
what
5 silver bars per American.
They put the shield to capture the energy for the AI data centers, and then they sell the sunlight back to you at a premium if you want to be one of the lucky few who get to see the sun.
Another way they're just gonna sell us energy, the ultimate, the solar energy.
Yeah. But no, we're gonna break out in real time.
For sure.
We're gonna get out of this.
And it all starts here.
It all starts here.
The moment that we climb the mountain that is ass and titties and find our way to the peak, the road will be clearer.
It will. It will be so clear.
It'll be as though a million torches lit at the same time towards the temple that was only hidden by the fog.
To that point, before we go out, it's not a coincidence that the sun came before ass and titties.
True.
Because there's no chance it would come after. How could it be too many other things to think about?
Right.
It needed that time.
I mean, just not even just the sun, the water, the plants, the animals, men,
all good things came before. So we're living in a post-ass titty world. Pat. As we like to call it on this podcast. Post-ass titty.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with it. We're going to start selling Pat merch. That's the world we're trying to live in.
Yeah.
Bring the light, PAT.
So it's been nice, guys. As always, stay on the light.